Okay, today, August 8th, is a significant day for me. 1 year ago today, I was having my first meeting with Tanya, president of PAIF, after I had agreed to become the independent candidate in the Scarborough Rouge River by-election. I was running on the single-issue platform of repealing Kathleen Wynne's sex ed curriculum. My purpose in running wasn't to win the by-election, but to put pressure on Patrick Brown, leader of the PC Party of Ontario, so he would be clear about his stance towards Wynne's sex ed curriculum. Now, there are many reasons why I'm against Wynne's sex ed curriculum. I'd like to share two stories with you, two true stories about the impact that this curriculum has had on children. Story number one. Two 6-year-old girls, let's call them Sophia and Lisa. They were at school playing like ordinary kids, and suddenly Lisa took off her pants and her underwear, and she told Sophia to touch her in between the legs. Now, this was very disturbing. Sophia went home, told her mother. And the problem is that this is a true story, and unfortunately there are other stories like this because Kathleen Wynne's sex ed curriculum sexualizes children. The sexualization of children, that's one of the reasons why you and I are here today protesting against this curriculum. Story number two. A 16-year-old was telling her mother that she was going to a friend's party. So her mother asked what kind of party it was. The girl responded that her classmate, let's call her Sarah, was celebrating the removal of her breasts. Sarah had been thinking for a while that she was a boy trapped in girls' bodies, and she was encouraged by some quote-unquote friends to have her breasts removed and to have testosterone injections so that she could become a man. No one told Sarah that research shows that up to 80% of young people who experience gender dysphoria settle into their biological sex in adulthood. Sarah, a vulnerable teen looking for her identity, is now permanently disfigured and will not be able to have her own biological children. Kathleen Wynne's sex ed curriculum introduces gender ideology in grade 3. My question is, how many more kids need to be mutilated and sterilized before Kathleen Wynne admits that her curriculum is state-funded child abuse? Do you know what else is atrocious? Patrick Brown, leader of the PC Party, leader of the opposition in Ontario, says he fully supports this curriculum. Shame on him. Shame! Since when was it the role of the official opposition to back the corrupt Liberal government? Shame! On him. Shame. When Kathleen Wynne's approval rating plunged to 12% in March, Patrick Brown was there to support her anti-family policies. Shame! Shame on him. Shame. The question is why. So let's review what happened in last summer's Scarborough Rouge River by-election. Raymond Cho was the PC Party's candidate in Scarborough Rouge River, riding where there were many Chinese people like me. The Chinese are traditional in our values, so the majority of us are against Kathleen Wynne's sex ed curriculum. For most of the by-election, Raymond Cho, like me, was against the sex ed. On August 25th, Patrick Brown's office sent Parents as First Educators, Campaign Life Coalition, and me a letter signed by Patrick Brown on PC Party letterhead saying he would scrap the curriculum in 2018 if he becomes Premier. Can we trust that? I have a copy of that letter.
Yes.
The PC Party had the letter translated into Chinese, and they distributed copies of it to voters in the riding. Patrick Brown wrote this letter because I was running in the by-election solely against the sex ed curriculum, and he wanted the Chinese and everyone else who was against the sex ed to vote for his candidates. Let me read you excerpts from the letter. Here's Patrick Brown. I believe parents are the primary educators of their children. When it comes to sexual health education, parents should have a say on how much their children are taught and at what age. I remain committed to principles I articulated during the leadership. Parents should be given advance notice of subjects taught and have access to materials used so they can decide if their child is ready. And every parent has the right to withdraw their child from the classroom at their discretion without penalty or repercussion. Upon being elected, a PC government would scrap the controversial changes to the sex ed introduced by Premier Wynne and develop a new curriculum after thoughtful and full consultation with parents. I believe sex ed is important, but it cannot be significantly changed without extensively consulting the primary educators of children who have always been parents. That was Patrick Brown. As you can imagine, I was excited when I received Patrick Brown's letter. The media immediately reported it. The next day, Patrick Brown was interviewed, same with Kathleen Wynne. I was interviewed as well. 2 days later, however, Patrick Brown said this to the media, and I quote, "It was a mistake for a letter to go out to Scarborough Rouge River voters saying that I would scrap the updated curriculum. This is not my view. This is not what I will do. In fact, the opposite is true."
Shame! Shame!
He goes on to say, "I strongly support an updated curriculum.
Shame.
Shame.
It is important to have sex education to combat homophobia and raise important issues like consent, mental health, bullying, and gender identity." That was Patrick Brown on August 29, 2016. He also denied that he wrote the letter and that he knew anything about it. Many people were angry at Patrick Brown for this sex ed flip-flop. His response was, "If you're not happy, vote for someone else."
Awful.
On September 19th, Patrick Brown wrote about his sex ed flip-flop on Facebook. Here's an excerpt. "I opposed the changes to the curriculum when they were first announced. They were undeniably controversial, and Kathleen Wynne failed to explain it adequately to parents. Even Dalton McGuinty backed away from implementing them. I have since come to the conclusion that significant opposition to the curriculum was rooted in a refusal to accept LGBT elements into the curriculum."
Nice.
That was Patrick Brown writing on his Facebook page on September 19th, 2016. Since then, Patrick Brown has declared war on his base of supporters who believe in parental rights and family values. Last November, I was at a conference and someone approached me saying, "Hey, aren't you Queenie from the Scarborough Rouge River by-election?" So I said yes, and she said, "You and your group aren't the only ones who have been betrayed by Patrick Brown. We helped him canvass during the leadership. We delivered flyers for him. We made phone calls for him. And after he became leader of the PC party, he threw us under the bus."
Shame.
My question is, how many more groups have been betrayed by Patrick Brown? It is disappointing that he openly supports Kathleen Wynne's sex ed agenda and all her anti-family policies. But something good came out of Patrick Brown's sex ed flip-flop. We exposed his true colors. If I hadn't run in that by-election last summer, many of you, myself included, we would be door knocking for him now. We'd be handing out flyers for him, making phone calls for him. We would be donating to him, only to find out after the 2018 provincial election that he wouldn't repeal the sex ed curriculum. What we did in Scarborough Rouge River saved all of us much more future disappointment than what we are experiencing right now.
Thank God.
I don't know about you, but I'm not discouraged.
No.
My campaign in Scarborough Rouge River had a fraction of the resources that the three big political parties had, but the impact we made went beyond Ontario. During the Conservative Party of Canada leadership race, somebody in British Columbia said that they didn't want to vote for a candidate who would do a Patrick Brown flip-flop.
Very good.
Can you believe this? What we did in Scarborough Rouge River reached British Columbia.
Awesome.
Reached the West Coast. So if we accomplished so much during Scarborough Rouge River, during the struggles the PCs and the NDP had, how much more could we do if all of you were to get more involved? We're fighting this battle against WIN sex ed curriculum because of our children. During my campaign last year, I constantly thought about my 4 young nephews. And one day, one of them said to my sister, "Mommy, why don't people have more kids?" And she said, "Well, honey, because they want another house, or they want another car, they want to travel. Kids are expensive."
Oh,
and he went silent and thought for a while, and he said, "No, we aren't. We're priceless."
Oh, very good.
Kids can have such wisdom, right? So yes, children are all priceless, and that's why I continue speaking out against Kathleen Wynne's sex ed agenda, and I will continue holding Patrick Brown accountable for his sex ed flip-flop and for his support for the Liberal government's anti-family policies. Thank you.
Please join me in welcoming Tanya Granic.
Thank you. I know we're getting low on time, so I'll be as brief as I can. Thank you, Maritza and Jennifer, for continuing, and all of you here for continuing the fight here in Durham. Thank you for sacrificing your time to be here today. Thank you for being here month after month in the rain, snow, and sun. You've been steadfast in your voice of concern and of protest. We're standing here outside Lauren Coe's office demanding that he act according to his constituents and repeal the WIN sex ed agenda. When this harmful and misguided curriculum was first introduced over 2 years ago, parents protested by the thousands. They didn't want this sex ed. What's wrong with it? It's age inappropriate, it robs children of their innocence, and it undermines our parental rights. Like many of you, I'm a parent. I have 4 young children. We have other things we'd rather be doing than coming here to demand that our members of parliament listen to us. That should be their job. Bill 28, when the Liberals, with full support from the NDP and the PC party, removed the words mother and father from the birth registration process. Now you've got to be known as a parent or birth parent, and a kid can have up to 4 parents. It's ridiculous. I asked my 9-year-old last night in preparing my comments for today, I said, "How many parents does a child have?" And she said 2, as if I was crazy. She looked at me like I was nuts. She said, "Everyone has a mother and father, even if they're adopted." I said, "Okay, well, you know what? If my 9-year-old can get that, why can't Kathleen Wynne and Patrick Brown understand that?" And where's the opposition? Where's Patrick Brown? Well, he's sitting in the front row at Queen's Park, whipping the vote so that all the PC members, including Monty McNaught and all of them, either show up and vote for it or skip the vote and find the bathroom during that time. They just sneak out right before the vote. Queenie and I saw it firsthand. So why isn't Patrick Brown and his PC standing up to this garbage? Why is he content in supporting the destruction of the family unit? Why is your MPP, Lauren Coe, not standing up for the families of Whitby, Oshawa? Kathleen Wynne didn't stop there. Oh no, right before Christmas, she gave us an early Christmas present, at least her version of one. She gave us Bill 89 and introduced it, which allows the government and its agencies to potentially unnecessarily intervene in your family life. Yes. That is Kathleen Wynne's version of a Christmas present to you all. So what's wrong with the bill? Well, like many of us have described, there's many things wrong. Among them, if a child tells me, like many children they have curiosities and say all sorts of things every day. Yes. And they say, at different ages, Mom, I feel like a girl. Maybe I should have been a girl. Well, you know what? I don't take that opportunity and make a life-altering decision for the rest of that child's life. We sit and we have conversations. But however, if I don't march and take that child for gender reassignment surgery or start that child on hormone blockers, then I could be considered an abusive parent. So I can't parent freely. Shame indeed. I can't parent freely. I have to do what the government's dictating for me to do. It's a shame. And how do I know this? Because the Minister of Child and Youth Services said so. He said, Minister Michael Couteau, I would consider that a form of abuse when a child identifies one way and a caregiver saying, no, you need to do this differently. And if it's abuse, and if it's within the definition, a child can be removed from that environment and placed into protection until the abuse stops. So what happened? Well, all of us mobilized. PAIF launched, PAIF alerted parents right away and families across Ontario in January and started a petition to spread the word. Thousands of you signed it. And thousands of you contacted your local MPPs, including MPP Lauren Coe, and lobbied him and said, hey, stand up for the family, vote the right way. So even Queenie and I even testified in front of the Legislative Committee to explain our concerns with this bill. But we know the Liberals have the votes. They have a majority. The question is, what would the PCs be doing? We know the NDP will go along with the Liberals. But would the PC support Wynne and her crazy agendas like so many times before? Or could we convince them otherwise? As a result of all of our lobbying efforts, we finally have opposition. After a unanimous result in favor of Bill 89 at the second reading, 23 MPPs voted against Bill 89. And I am pleased to say that your MPP, Lauren Coe, was one of those 23 who voted the right way. So good job, MPP Lauren Coe.
Keep it up.
We're very happy that you listened to your constituents and voted the right ways on Bill 89 for the family.
Yes.
Because of parents finding their voice and taking up their roles as the first educators of the parents of their children, you affected Bill 89. So how did Patrick Brown vote? He didn't even bother showing up. So where do we go from here? We keep fighting. We keep protesting.
Yes.
And we keep protecting our families. Queenie and I have been lucky to spend some time with Dr. Jordan Peterson, whom Jack Fonseca just mentioned. Maybe some of you know him. When we asked him, what can parents do to fight the political correctness and the social re-engineering of the family, he told us parents must find their voice and use it. If they don't, they will lose it. Stop giving away ground. So we need to continue our fight for our children. Our kids do not belong to the government. I don't need Kathleen Wynne telling me how to raise my kids.
No.
I don't need the worst premier in Ontario's history who can't even balance a checkbook tell me when and what and how my children should learn sex ed.
No.
I don't need Patrick Brown telling me why when sex ed is great, like Queenie described in his Facebook post. If he likes it so much, then he can learn it. But keep it away from my kids.
Keep it away from our kids.
Wynne and Brown need to keep their noses out of my family and mind their own houses.
Yes.
So let's keep using our voices for truth. Let's keep fighting for what's right.
Yes.
And let's fight for the parents to remain as first educators of our children.
Yay!